Okay, what is going on, everybody? My name is Mangg, and we're going to be playing some Bloodborne today. I just finished up my first playthrough about 2 hours ago, and I put together I had recorded the entire thing without commentary. I just recorded my gameplay of the whole first playthrough, so I put together a kind of a montage of my whole playthrough, set to some music, and I kind of just put it together for my own nostalgia later on, but I figured I would upload it. YouTube didn't like the music, so I had to put it on Vimeo. I'll include the link in the description if you want to see it, if you don't care about any spoilers or anything like that. I do show most of the bosses. But other than that, we're going to begin our second playthrough now. Now that I am a bit more knowledgeable, a bit more comfortable with the game, it should be good.
Oh, yeah.
We'll skip all the cinematics because, you know. And, so yeah, we're going to be going with TBitch this time, and we're going to be going with a Dex build. I said at the start of my first playthrough that I was going to go through for a quality build. But then I ended up going heavy strength once I discovered the Kirk Hammer, which is the best weapon in the game. So this time we're going to be going Dex, because I really want to use those dual blades. And yeah, Dex is called skill in this game. I don't care. It'll be called a Dex build for all I care. So that's probably going to be the professional. Starts with 15 skill. It's real good. Although if I really wanted to be true to TBitch, I'd be waste of skin, but we'll be professional. Okay, so yeah, avoid, sure, build, small head, sure. I only really care about hair, usually. No. These are all... Oh, God. What's that look like? Sure, it's fine. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. Finish. Done. Yes, moving on. So, now that I've played through the game once, and to be fair, I think, miss a bunch of stuff. I missed out on a bunch of optional stuff that I only found out now. But I think I can give a good, a decent review of the game. I think the thing to really realize is it's not a Souls game. And I think that's done pretty intentionally. It shares a lot of similarities with the Souls games. It does. And, you know, to the layman, yeah, it probably seems like a Souls game, but it's not. And that has its pros and cons. I guess, to put it bluntly, you really have to just compare it to Dark Souls 1. Because that is the best game in the Souls series. So it's like, is this game better than Dark Souls 1? And the answer to me is no, not quite. I think Dark Souls 1 is Miyazaki's magnum opus. I don't think he'll ever top it. It's a horror action game with very quick combat and a very dark, grim world. And for that, it's damn good, and it's damn entertaining. Now, yeah, because, you know, me and a lot of others have experience with the Souls games, we have something that we can base our experiences off of, but it's its own thing. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with the game, obviously, as I'm doing a second playthrough, but it's no Dark Souls 1, but there will probably never be another one like that. Yeah, so we got this wolf here right at the start. And you don't gain a single damn thing for killing him. Which makes you wonder why the hell I'm bothering to do it. The answer is because I can, I guess. There we go. Did. Oh, actually, we did get some. We get 3 blood vials. My first playthrough, I kind of like slingshotted or yo-yoed. There's a word, I guess. Early on, my blood vials were in bountiful plenty, to the point where I maxed out my storage. I had over 99 in storage pretty easily, so I had to just leave a lot behind. But bullets, like, I kept on running out of bullets, and I actually had to farm them for a little bit. But then later on in the game, I never, ever ran less than 99 bullets in storage. But blood vials, I had to farm quite a bit for a while. So I wonder if there was any correlation that I did less parrying with my gun, and thus I got hurt more often. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see how things go. These guys, I don't want to fight with my bare hands. So really, you don't ever have to die to go to the Hunter's Dream if you don't want to. And I'm curious to see some speedruns of this game to see, how people do this at the start, and it's an interesting game to speedrun. But I do want weapons. So let's... Goodbye. Okay, so we're gonna start with a threaded cane, because it is the skill weapon at the start, but our goal is to get the Blades of Mercy as quickly as possible. So here we have the threaded cane, which has C scaling and skill. Take it. Now, gun choice. Here's an interesting one. There's a bunch of guns in this game. I didn't spend too much time with any of them other than these 2. I did pick up the cannon, and that's pretty fun, but I don't know how really useful it is. I started with the blunderbuss my first playthrough, and then halfway through, maybe a little later than that, I picked up the pistol to try that. I think the pistol is quicker, perhaps, and has longer range, but I think the blunderbuss is better overall for parrying, because I think it has a better stagger window. So we're going to go with the blunderbuss, even though it is a little slower. Okay. So, equip that, and that, and... No, that's not what I want. That, and that. And that is that. Okay. So the doll does not awaken until you get 1 insight. And insight's kind of an interesting thing. A lot of people are speculating and talking about that nowadays. And apparently what's been discovered is that after you get 15 insight, if you have 15 or more insight, enemies are stronger, and they occasionally have new abilities. So that's kind of like the white tendency, black tendency from like Demon Souls. It lets you kind of scale the difficulty of the areas and stuff a little bit. And that's interesting. I never spent any insight at all in my first playthrough. I ended with like 54 or something like that. I mean, I didn't really have any standard to compare it to. Maybe the minions are all harder, but I guess I didn't have too much trouble. Insight also lets you see certain things that you would otherwise not be able to see. Again, there's a lot of speculation going into Insight, but we'll probably try to keep it down because there's no benefit to keeping it up. It's used for, you know, PvP and cooperation and stuff like that, but we're not gonna be doing any of that, so we don't have to worry. Okay, that was not perfect, but there you go. Okay. So the Blades of Mercy can only come from the woman, which if you saw my first impression in the video, it's the one I kept referring to as Legolas. It is a woman named Eileen, apparently. And in my first playthrough, I eventually did kill her. I spent a lot of time just working on killing her. That was my only goal. And I finally did succeed through some cheese methods and using the axe two-handed attack, two-handed charge attack. So I finally did kill her. But she doesn't drop the blades, which was really disappointing. She doesn't drop her armor either. She just drops a badge, which lets you purchase her weapons from the vendor. And that was disappointing. Cost 40,000 too. So that gives us a dilemma. One, we need to acquire 40,000 souls as quickly as possible, and two, we need to get this badge. Now we could attempt to kill her again, which I'm not thrilled by the prospect of. But two, we could let her die. And I did do some reading on this because she has a quest line. And at one point during her quest line, apparently she's fighting another hunter. And the hunter is apparently pretty good. So if he kills her, you can just pick up the badge. So we will attempt to do that. So because yeah, even if we do kill her, like right when we meet her, we're not gonna have the 40k souls for a while. So there's no huge rush in that aspect. Yeah. So as you can see, the threaded cane is pretty decent. Its normal mode with the gun is just kind of like a short sword, and it's got, you know, a pretty decent little moveset, and then its charge is a thrust, and yeah. And then with the transformation, you can still use your gun, which is cool, but it's like a whip. So that's that. It doesn't have a charge, which is interesting. It's the right trigger move is a little different, but there's no charge attack with the whip. And somebody brought this up when I was reading the Reddit a couple days ago, where it was like how inspired this movie was by Brotherhood of the Wolf. And Brotherhood of the Wolf, if you've never heard of it, never seen it, is a fantastic French movie. It's like one of the most successful French movies ever made. And it's about the Beast of Gévaudan. But there's a bit more historical drama to it. History to it in the movie, as far as the plot. But then there's also, like, Mark Dacascos, and there's martial arts and shit like that, and it's just balls to the wall sometimes. And, this is a movie that I've known of ever since it came to America. Like, my dad would spend just hours perusing Blockbuster every single week. So, he, of course, heard about this and rented it for us. And I didn't, like, when I first saw it, I didn't know anything about what was really going on with the plot. Like, you know, the whole, science versus religion and, you know, French history and all that kind of stuff. And it was just like, all right, sure. But, you know, you had Mark Dacascos playing a Native American kicking ass all over the place. And it was like, all right, sweet. But it is a really good movie. And they were talking about how this game had to have been inspired by it because of a lot of, like, the aesthetic and the costume design. Like, a lot of the outfit design is very reminiscent of what was in Brotherhood of the Wolf. And that might just be coincidental or whatever, but it is cool. Not this headpiece, but the headpiece we'll probably get next is pretty much straight out of the movie. And then this threaded cane is very reminiscent of a weapon used in the movie. A very memorable weapon. And, you know, just kind of the whole... Yeah, the design. It's reminiscent of it, and it's cool. I didn't really realize it right away until somebody mentioned, but it was like, yeah, you're right. Also, that's a damn awesome movie. So I had to watch a movie, like, last night. I haven't seen it in a while. Great stuff. And it has Monica Bellucci in it, so... Yeah. Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa! Heal. Damn it. Okay. I'm not too concerned about using up blood vials, and really you should never be concerned about using up blood vials. It's no biggie. And bullets, I don't, like, there are times, again, when I was first starting where it's just like, I just never had enough bullets. There is a trick, I think it's one of, like, the little tutorial messages if you want to run the Hunter's Dream, but if you don't look at it, it's pretty easy to never find out about it. But if you press up on the D-pad, you, like, pull bullets out of your leg. I don't know what you do, but you get +5 bullets, but you lose some health. So if you desperately need a few bullets for a situation, you can always do that. FYI. Dogs are really vulnerable to bullets. They'll pretty much any gun you use, even the pistol, they'll get knocked down. So that's a handy trick. Just, I guess, I think the combat is as best as it's ever been in a Souls-esque game. I don't think the combat is what's holding this game down from greatness. It's really slick. Every encounter is very thrilling. I think it's just kind of it's a very grim game, and I hope that this is about as grim and as dark as FromSoft ever gets. Because at times it's like, all right, you know, where's the light? It's just like pretty much every single location you go to is either dusk or night. This is literally as bright as the game gets. And it only goes downhill from here. And in a certain way, I do like that, because I am a horror fan, and this embodies a lot of horror traits without being a horror game, you know? And so there's I do like the aesthetic a lot of this game, and the plot. There's a lot of Lovecraftian elements into the story and the game itself, and the creature design and things like that. That is very cool. But other times, it's like, you know, Dark Souls 2, even Demon Souls, you know, there were some bright locations and bright moments. Because, like, Dark Souls 2, the Dragon's Area or whatever, like, that was a really, really cool location. And I know that, you know, they made a conscious decision, like, this is going to be a darker game, this is going to be a horror-esque game, you can't just throw in bright locations, but, and some people will vastly prefer that over, you know, occasional cheeriness or brightness, but for me, personally, I like a little sunshine thrown in to brighten up my day. But the combat, yes, it is very good. They've outdone themselves for the most part. Alright, so I guess we could go fight the cleric beast. But it's really not essential, because I'm not going to waste any souls on leveling up. So, I'm not too crazy about that. Why did I not open that door? Wow. Okay. So... not nuts about fighting the cleric beast. Yeah, that was my bad. That was my bad. Somehow I survived, only to act completely bewildered. Trying to think of what I want to do. I guess we'll go talk to Eileen. Get that started. I was, I am gonna try to make a conscious effort to edit out loading screens when possible. I don't know if I'll catch them all. Actually, I know I won't catch them all. I don't know if I'll catch most of them, but I will try to edit out ones. So that also means I'm gonna have to try to not talk during loading screens, which is gonna be difficult because generally, loading screens are when I die, and after I die, I get pissed, and so I rant about stuff. So I don't know, we'll see. God. Okay, so you see that guy's eyes are glowing. That means that he has my souls. Or blood echoes, if you want to be correct. And so that was a really interesting decision to add. You always drop your souls when you die, your blood echoes. You always drop them, just like in the old days. The difference now is enemies, if they wander over them, can pick them up. And that's what this guy did. So he picked up my souls. So it's not always going to be that your souls are on the ground when you come back. And it's not always going to be that the one who killed you is going to have your souls. It might just be a wandering patrol that happens to pick them up. So it adds some kind of, you can't always just, I'm just going to dash in and grab my souls and, you know, run back out. You know, sometimes it's like, oh shit, that guy has them. I like it. It never really bothered me too much during my playthrough. The only time it pissed me off was near the end of the game when I lost like 130,000 souls. Because a rather pain-in-the-ass enemy had them. Now that was pointless. Okay. Again, I keep assuming that everybody's watched the first impressions video, but if not, I guess I can explain some other basic concepts. When you get hit by an enemy in this game, you enter into a period called rally or regain. I don't know what the official term is, but it's a short-term period in which if you attack, I don't think it even has to be the same enemy. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have to be the same enemy. But if you attack any enemy during that period, you can recover the health that you lost. And I don't think you can ever gain more health than you lost. As far as I understand it, you can only gain up to the amount that you lost. And it's based, I think, on like that yellow bar. When you get hit, your red bar goes down, and then there's some yellow there to signify what you lost. And then the yellow bar will, after a little bit, shrink back down to the red bar, and then you can no longer regain. Very interesting concept. Not unwelcome. And I think it's like they want you to be aggressive. You know, they want you to get hit and then not back off and slow down and, you know, pop some blood vials and stuff like that. They want you to just keep going. And that's cool. I really like that design choice. So here's Eileen, Legolas, whatever. She gives you 4 bold hunter's marks, which Reeflay completely lied to me when I first played. He was trying to say that they prevented you from losing your souls when you died. That's not at all what they are. They're just a hunter's mark, or they're just a homeward bone. But yeah. Okay. So hopefully we'll encounter again later. And I was actually surprised by how few of those hunter's marks I used in my playthrough. Like, I rarely ever needed to homeward bone. Okay. Overkill. The visceral attacks are what they're calling them now. The ripostes and the backstabs. Wow, that's some range. Again, another very interesting choice. Goodbye. Backstabs are definitely far rarer in this game across the board. Occasionally, you'll pull them off if you just get a perfect like dodge and wide opening on a slower enemy. Yeah, backstabs can be good, but most of the time, it's going to happen from the front. You're going to parry the guy, and then you're just going to stab him in the chest if possible. That time I did not do anything. And it was kind of interesting going through the first playthrough and trying to discover what enemies are parryable and which ones are not quite, or at least much harder to parry. Took plenty of hits trying to discover that. Alright. I don't think I care about either of these weapons, but... Find out. The rats in this game are even bigger. But not any more threatening. Blood vials, bloodstone shards. Okay, yeah, we wanted that. I think that item there is the saw spear, I think. Which, that's, I was surprised when I first heard, and a bunch of people are talking about that, how it's like, how few weapons there are in the game. And there's not many. And I think I was really surprised by that. I was like, oh, that's a bummer, you know, the fun of the Souls game is just this plethora of, you know, this arsenal of stuff that you can try out and go through and things like that. But then I was surprised because I really only used 2 weapons through my whole first playthrough. I had the Hunter Axe, which I started out with, and I liked that. That was pretty sweet. And then I found the Kirk Hammer. And then I never tried anything else, because that thing was so freaking sweet. Ah, the range on that. Thank you. And once I pick up the Kirk Hammer, I will, I'll show it off, talk about it a little bit. We won't be using it this time because it's very much a strength weapon. But man, when I first discovered that thing, oh man, I don't know who designed that shit. I don't know who's responsible, but they deserve a medal because that thing is the coolest fucking thing in a game I've seen in a long time as far as weaponry goes. I want that thing in every game. I need to make a D&D character that uses that thing. And yeah, we'll talk about that later. You know, their bullets do a lot more damage than my bullets. I've heard some people say that later on you can get some guns that are viable for damage. I'm very curious to see some videos from some professionals on how that goes. Get on. And this guy is like hiding in the barrels or something. I don't know. I never got any elemental imbuing or anything like that for weapons. It's not like the other Souls games or anything where you go to the smith and you have, like, you know, different stones or something like that, and you just like, oh, this is a normal weapon, but I'm gonna make it into a fire weapon. You know, it's like it's not like that. I think there's like gems. There's the gems that you can put into any weapon, and a lot of them just increase damage or things like that. But then some of them can be slotted in to give it like fire attack or arcane attack or something like that. And I picked up a bunch of them for fire and bolt and stuff like that. But my Kirk Hammer didn't have any slots for it. Like, it's different type of slots. And so I never got to use it. And I was bummed out. And then Epic Namebro in one of his videos was talking about the Kirk Hammer and how you could do some cheese with it by putting a fire gem in it and using oil urns. And I was like, what the hell is he talking about? How do you get a fire gem into it? I think there are like there are variants on the weapons that you can find. Like, there's the regular weapon, but then there's like the lost version of it or something, and then there's another type. And I think this comes from the Chalice dungeons, which I have not touched on at all, because I have no idea what's going on with that. So, maybe we'll try those at some point. I don't know how they work. I don't know what's going on. There's a backstab. I feel like that guy is here just to be like, here's your backstab tutorial, do it. Okay, so... that girl, side quest, a lot of people talk about. I don't think we'll really do anything for her. I think in my first playthrough, I brought back the brooch to her. I don't know why, but I did. And then later I find out that if you use the brooch, you get a gem that's pretty decent. If you give the brooch to her, you don't get jack shit. Altruism has no place in video games. So, yeah, we'll probably just be using the brooch and saying screw you. The music box that you get you get from her is used during the Father Gascoigne fight. I did not realize this at all during my first playthrough. I didn't realize it until I think I saw Epic Name Bros video or something. And I did not need it for when I fought him. And we'll talk about that later. Yep. Gotta kill everything. We need all the souls we can get. If I can beat Father Gascoigne without leveling up, then we're in pretty good shape. I do want to upgrade the weapon, though. The threaded cane. Because that doesn't take too much. The whip does not do a great amount of damage. It just kind of exists. Square bird. I want my bird. And the crows are really like the most benign enemy in the game. The worst thing they can do is spook you. Like, if you don't see them, like, nestled in a corner and they make that noise and jump out at you. That's not great. And then it gets real weird when later on when they are a crow's body with a dog head. That's kind of weird. I don't need that in my life. But that's not for a long time. You don't have to worry. Yeah, they don't put up much resistance, I know. You just kind of slaughter them. Alright, so yeah, down there you see what looks to be almost like a raccoon. For me, it looks like a raccoon on my screen. That's what I thought it was. But then I was like, no, it can't be a raccoon. It's got to be a rat. Because it's in a sewer. No, it's a pig. Yeah, it's a pig. We'll deal with him. If we go down here, we can incite a riot. But they will also light that giant ball. Like, how much work must have gone in to make that entire ball of rock flammable and do all that shit and set it up, and then it's quite incredible. And then they just waste it like that. But I'm just going to kill these because we need more souls. And we are going to that. And then we're going to head across. There's a ladder over here that if we go down, we can actually get right behind the pig. And it's not necessary at all. It's so easy to dodge the pig and backstab him normally, but I figured we could show it off. I think overall the game seems easier than the Souls games and stuff. But that might be just because I have so much experience with those games at this point. That could be it. But I've heard multiple people mention that it's easier. So it might be just because of the extra, you know, the mobility and all that. Or the game is just designed easier. There is less bullshit in this game, I've noticed. Like, there was less cheap bullshit, as far as I experienced. And we're gonna do a prostate exam. There you go. Oh! Quite terrible, really. But he's dead. There is one shield in the game. Precisely one shield. And when I first got it, I was so excited. It's like, oh my god, there is shields in this game. Oh yeah, shields. No. It's basically just a tease, a trick, an insult, a fuck you. I don't know, whatever it is. FromSoft's just like, we'll put in a wooden shield, and all those assholes will try it. Oh, I tried it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work great. So I was like, no, there's no shields. Damn you. Damn you. It was worth a shot. Always forget the range. Always forget to aim. That'll hit. That'll hit. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Miss. Whiff. He doesn't whiff. Can we just do this? Thank you. He gets freaking knocked back. God! You ass. You asses. Yeah? Yeah? Oh, also, if you keep swinging while they're dying, if you're in the regain mode, you can still recover your HP by taking your aggression out on their corpse. Two more homeward bones, which we might use. Yep, because that's the Father Gascoigne fight, and I'd rather upgrade my my cane. Although we could just use Molotov cocktails and oil urns and finish them real quick, but we might do that anyways. Pebbles. We will bold Hunter's Mark. Which really might as well just take you back to the Hunter's Dream. I think there was some odd... I think... like, the team that worked on this didn't really incorporate a lot of the conveniences from Dark Souls 2 that were added. Like, why do we have to go back to Hunter's Dream every single time if we want to go to a different lamp? Why not just add in the option to warp between lampposts? Like, there's no reason not to have that, other than just you like us watching your loading screens. So we get to see twice as many. But here, Homeward Bone comes back here. Now, sure, there could be a remote possibility that I was planning to just trek around here some more. But if I Homeward Bone, it's likely because I want to go back to the hub to do some shit. Maybe you're using it for farming, but okay. But the warp between lamps, come on. Come on. Yeah, some odd choices. Luckily, that is pretty quick. I still don't have an insight, but it doesn't matter. I wouldn't spend anything. We need one more bloodstone shard to upgrade it. And we could get that. Potentially we could get that from the wolves on the bridge. So that might be an option. But yes, we have a long way to go before we get 40k. It's annoying. It's very annoying. But it is what it is. We want those sweet, sweet blades. Anyways, that's going to wrap up the first part of my second Bloodborne playthrough. Should be some fun times. There are plenty of fun moments in this game. Anyways, my name is Mangg. Game you've been watching is Bloodborne. I'll see you in the next part.